5 minutes. Minute and a half.
Oh, that's, yeah,
Hi,
that's,
Lori.
Hi there.
How are
so
you?
let's do
Good.
it
How are
Wednesday
you?
then.
Here's
Huh?
these awards that
Okay.
we're going to be giving out tonight. If you could just hand them to the recipients,
Okay.
and I'll announce them and do all that.
Yeah.
We just set them on that table over there so I don't have to carry them all.
Okay. And so you'll come down.
Are there 3 different people?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Greg Ibert's not here, so just two.
Okay.
Okay.
I requested.
Hey, how are you?
Gary?
I know. I used to have my.
40 seconds. Okay. Okay, everybody grab a seat. Just your own. Okay, we'll call this meeting of the council on October the 10th, 2024. We'll call this meeting of the Roswell City Council to order. The clerk will call the roll, please.
Counselor Arnold will not be here this evening. Counselor Cavan?
Present.
Counselor Oropesa?
Here.
Counselor Marujo?
Here.
Counselor Chapel?
Here.
Counselor Moore?
Here.
Counselor Halverson?
Here.
Counselor Hildenbrand?
Present.
Counselor Johnson?
Here.
Counselor Corn?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Okay, today if we could have a prayer by Counselor Marujo, if you don't mind, and maybe we have the pledge by Councilman Opresa. He hadn't been here in a little bit, so we're glad to have him here. If we could, please. Please stand. That's fine.
Father God, we come before you and give you all glory and honor, Father God. We ask you to bless each and every one that's here, Father God. I lift up our police officers in the state, citywide, Father God. Our first responders, our fire department, Father God. We lift up Officer Jacob Avilos, Father God. Speedy healing, Father God. We thank you for all that you've done for us. I ask you to give us wisdom in our decisions today. And we give you all glory and honor. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, Counselor Opresa. It's really great to have you back, and I'm glad your bride's doing so well. That's really good.
Thank you, sir.
And for the general public, please look at you. It's election year, so look at your ballots early. The ballots on this election in November are very long. There are a lot of issues, so you need to know before you go in how you're going to vote. There's several things on veterans issues, on a 100% disabled veteran and stuff, and there's some for our college and for our Joy Centers. So there are a lot of items on the ballot. So please, before you go in, so they don't trip you up, you need to please read the ballots. And that's just because it's governance. I would just, in tonight's meeting, I would just like to caution members. Last week there were some things that happened in here. According to Robert's Rules of Order, the audience is not supposed to clap. The council members are not supposed to clap, because every person in a democracy, however many people you have on your side, you're supposed to have free, open expression without anybody intimidating you or anything else. So I would ask that all of us work on making sure that everybody who comes before this body in a democracy has the chance to have free and open expression without anyone making a sign either for or against their views. I would ask that we do that as according to Robert's Rules of Order, it should be done. Okay, so moving right along. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda today, and we have Councilman Hildebrand for.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve the agenda for the meeting for October 10th, 2024 for the regular city council meeting.
We have a motion by Councilman Hildebrand, seconded by Councilor Cabin. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cavan.
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa.
Yes.
Counselor Marujo.
Yes.
Counselor Chapel.
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Counselor Halverson.
Yes.
Counselor Hildenbrand.
Aye.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Corn.
Yes.
By a vote of 9 in the affirmative, 9 in the negative, the agenda has been approved. Now we have for approval of the consent agenda. Councilman Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve the consent agenda for October 10th, 2024 regular city council meeting.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the consent agenda and a second by Councilor. Who wants to do it? Marujo? Okay. Okay. Councilor Marujo seconded. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor signify. Oh, nope, sorry, we got a roll call. So, clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cavan.
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa.
Yes.
Counselor Marujo.
Yes.
Counselor Chapel.
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Counselor Halverson.
Yes.
Counselor Hildenbrand.
Aye.
Counselor Johnson.
Yes.
Counselor Corn.
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay. Okay. So we go now, we're on item 23. Ms. Thompson, if you would please come forward. You have to talk directly into that because it's might not be on.
Extra pen. Yeah, you would give me the broke one.
Okay. Why don't you move the podium over a little bit and then you can, or did you get it turned on? Yeah. Okay, never mind. Yes, Ms. Thompson.
Good evening, Council and Mr. Mayor. If you would not mind indulging me for just a few seconds, before I get into what I want to talk about on the airport, I would like to share a story from the air show last week, which of course was our final event in the city of Reno. And this story, you'll think I'm going in a very strange way, but wait till the end. It demonstrates just how dedicated the air show fans are. So we're very proud of our first responders and how quickly and efficiently they take care of things. And when you have large crowds, of course, just anything can happen. And on Sunday, a gentleman had a heart attack in the grandstands. Our first responders got there. However, the man did pass away. But wait. Our first responders got him into the ambulance, and with defibrillator, they were able to revive him. They stayed there on site, getting fluids and everything in him, and he was doing better. And they said, "Sir, we'd like to take you to Reno, to Renown Hospital." And he goes, "I got to see the Blue Angels fly. I got to get back in the stands." True story. But now I'd like to talk, and I'll be doing reports to you on a regular basis for a while. And one of the things that I'd like to report, because it's so critically important, not only for the airport, but also for you folks with the fiduciary responsibilities that you all have on the revenue and expenses at the airport, have some discussions on that, talk about the operations at the airport and how that's impacted, but also the plans that are moving forward on the airport, and then some vision, because I think that in airports you always have to have vision. You've got to take care of the day-to-day and be planning for those future years. So in looking at the 24 budget, I found that basically 2 items represent 93% of the income at the airport. And those are the land building leases and then the dry storage aircraft that are on the airport, with the land and facility leases representing 72% of that total. So as you can see, that's critically important on how those things are managed. Fortunately, we have a very good property manager at the airport. She does a great job. We're going to be working very hard with her. And then when you talk emplanements, which are a very smaller number, right now we're averaging, or in 24, that was about 3,200 a month. And that's important from a budget standpoint because you do have what's called passenger facility charges at $4.50 per person. On the buildings and parcels that you have, there's a total of 87. And of that 87, 54 of those are commercial aeronautical buildings and 33 are non-aeronautical, but of course, all represent revenue. We do have some leases that are expiring that we're working on. We have some leases that are in various levels of discussion for a number of reasons. Some have to do with maintenance issues, generally because some of those buildings gotten pretty old. So 3 of those leases that are expiring are in negotiation. Some are awaiting signatures because they've done, and one still has storm damage that we're trying to get a handle on and get taken care of. When you talk the unleased vacant buildings at the airport, so in 1965, 4 hangars were built. Those 4 hangars right now are empty. A couple of them aren't in really good shape, but they could be used for some things, and we're going to root out some ideas and figure out how to do that. And those rent for $250 a square foot. In 1942, and I'm so glad there are things older than I am, we have 3 office storage buildings, 7,344 square feet at $225 a square foot. And remember, these are vacants. And then there's 1 warehouse office complex that's 5,520 square feet, built in 1954, and $4.50 a square foot. And then 2 warehouses that we need to determine some rates for. And why those things are important, from the obvious that we do need to get those fulfilled and get some revenue generated on those, is I believe on those older buildings, especially those that were done, the 3 from 1942, and there's some other ones at the airport that are that age as well, is I think we should go back to Washington and get in the BRAC program and see if we can get some assistance in updating those buildings and get some funds to help with things that need to be done. We'll be chasing that, certainly, and going after that. Another item, of course, when you're looking at budgets, are expenses. One of the items that I've been talking to the city manager and the city attorney in regards to is the insurance. You currently have a very unusual way of having insurance at your properties at the airport. Normally, it's the tenant's responsibility, but you had developed and evolved in a different way. However, I've provided the city manager and the city attorney with a new insurance policy that they're reviewing, and then hopefully you folks will take a look at and approve it, whereby those tenants are required to get their own insurance, and hopefully we can have that in place by the start of your new fiscal year in 25, or 26 it would be. So again, I want to do these reports on a regular basis. I'm happy to entertain any input from any one of you on additional information that you'd like to hear reported on. And with that, I'd be happy to take any questions if you have some.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Are there any members have any questions of Ms. Thompson?
Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Next we have Mr. Bud Kunkel. Bud's the Airport Advisory Committee. Welcome, Bud.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Jennings and Roswell City Councilors. Due to your busy schedules with the city, especially in reference to city water issues, and when we all showed up at the parking lot, I think we all wondered what Hildenbrand had done next with the water. Anyway, I missed presenting to you in August and September, so I appreciate the opportunity to again update you on recent Air Center activities. The AAC held our October meeting on Tuesday, October the 1st. We had several Air Center tenants in attendance, several guests attending in person, and several attending via GoToMeeting, including 2 Mead and Hunt representatives to speak about the airport strategic plan. We had 8 agenda items for updating commissioners and 1 action item to address the strategic plan. Passenger boardings for September were 5738. In September 23, boardings were 3618. Airport operations for September were 1,557 versus 1,386 in September of 23. Aircraft parking numbers continue to be fairly stable, with 231 aircraft parked in September compared to 221 in September of last year. September revenue was $707,400, with expenses being $145,700. I don't think we've had a month like that, maybe ever. This was mostly due, however, to timing of income received, recognizing the large amount of income. FY 2024 revenue was 8.797 plus. FY 2024 expenses were 8.970. This is a net negative income for FY 2024 of 172,000 plus. Now the effort, I went through that pretty quickly, but the effort to develop this information was a collaborative effort by the city finance staff, the airport staff, and John Hitchcock, who was a bulldog on this thing. Based upon the previous 5 to 6 years of financial history, this is likely the best information from a financial standpoint that we've ever had at the Air Center. So thank goodness we got there. And that, in fact, is in the airport strategic plan, which some of you have already seen. Several projects were discussed. The BLM taxiway project is $1.7 million over budget. Mayor Jennings has been encouraged to contact the governor and her cabinet secretary to see if any additional funds are available. BLM is also realigning some funds to provide an addendum to the Air Center to get the slurry pit construction done on this portion of the project. There were no updated references to the airport master plan, which is still scheduled to be completed in December of this year. Jennifer has submitted 2 notice of obligations to the New Mexico Department of Finance to use funds from 2 grants to construct the new grandstands for the air races. The Air Center security update included the TSA requirements for rebadging for everyone at the airport, to be completed by December 19th this year. Background checks will have to be accomplished for all new tenants by that same date. Beginning in January 2025, new badges will be issued during the birth month of each badge holder. In 2025, the cost of the new badge will be prorated to accommodate all badge holders that were required to have a new badge in December this year. Mike Provine with the engineering firm of Moles and Corbin was introduced at the meeting. The RAC now has access to 2 engineering firms for projects at the Air Center. Both Armstrong Engineering and Moles and Corbin Engineering are under contract to the city of Roswell. Mike Espiritu provided an update on Reservoir, and he and Bobby could both, several others, could provide good updates for us this evening. But my portion of this, the New Mexico State Tourism Department provided a $700,000 and a $300,000 grant to the city for marketing air races next year. The recertification school for pilots will be scheduled in May of next year, 2025, and dates for the 2025 air show likely have been confirmed by now, but they will be coordinated. I was pleased to see that the dates we're trying to coordinate and work around work with Eastern New Mexico State Fair. They'll be in late September, early October, and Bobby probably has the dates, but I didn't have time to ask her yet. White Cloud Construction was awarded the Southeast Waterline project. They intend to mobilize on 14 October, begin construction on 21 October, and complete the project in May 2025. Jenna Lanfor, the RAC Deputy Director, is continuing to work on a marketing plan, which Bobby also expressed, for vacant properties at the Air Center. This is an ongoing effort prompted by previous comments made by Councilor Ed Hildenbrand. The RAC strategic plan prepared by Mead and Hunt is coming close to completion. Numerous entities and stakeholders have diligently worked on this plan since November of last year. The plan has been proofed and reproofed several times to ensure that it is not just accurate, but that it becomes a living, working document to guide future development and operations at the RAC. As a reminder to the City Council, the cost of this plan was bid and approved at $233,000. However, this was totally paid for by a grant from the state. None of it came out of city funds. Significant time, effort, and thought has gone into this plan to ensure that it will be an effective tool to be used on a daily basis at the Air Center to better and more fully utilize this incredible facility called the Roswell Air Center. The AAC re-looked at the plan after our meeting on October the 1st. Those changes and updates were incorporated into the plan by Mead and Hunt, and then a final proof was accomplished by airport staff and AAC commissioners. This document, which is now ready for publication, in fact it has been published, will be presented by Mead and Hunt to the legal committee on October the 24th. In fact, our city clerk has gotten copies of that, either hard copies or copies in your email to those folks that are on legal committee. So you have that already. Hopefully, it will be approved by the legal committee and referred to the city council for the November meeting, with final approval and adoption by the city council in November. The AAC is proud to have been a part of this process and is pleased to have been the primary impetus to get a new strategic plan developed for the Air Center. Thanks to all entities that participated in accomplishing this extremely important task, and a special thank you to the City Council for your confidence in allowing the AAC to bring this critical document to fruition. This concludes my report. I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kunkel. Are there any questions of Mr. Kunkel? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time and all you all have done with that. The Airport Advisory Committee, it's been extremely helpful.
Thank you for your attention and also for your support of the Airport Advisory Commission.
Thank you. Next, we have a Parks Design Award for the all-inclusive park. Mr. Burris and Lori Dudek.
Mayor Jennings, City Council, and City Administration, I'm Lori Dudek, representing the Roswell Parks and Recreation Commission on behalf of the New Mexico Recreation and Parks Association. The Roswell Parks and Recreation Department currently leads the state in awards for outstanding excellence. Several awards were received from the New Mexico Recreation and Parks Association, recognizing program quality, volunteerism, facilities, service at our state conference held in September in Hobbs. Our departments thrive and flourish due to these passionate, dedicated community services that are always can be counted on. Our first award this evening is the Parks Design Award. It was awarded to the City of Roswell Parks Department, the All-Inclusive Parks Horizons Playground. The All-Inclusive Parks Horizons Playground provides children and families of all abilities a space to be outdoors for play, to enjoy social interaction, and at last but not least, to have fun. A space to provide recreational activities and exercise to promote a sense of well-being so that no one is left out when it comes to playing. All-inclusive means that features are more user-friendly for youths on the autism spectrum and other special needs. The park has 4 separate sections, and 2 will contain play equipment. One of these is for children ages 2 to 5, and the other is for ages 5 to 12. Roswell has the only special needs park in southern New Mexico, and we have several families from neighboring states that come to visit it. It is a gated park which assists in keeping children safe while they're playing inside. Congratulations, Park Design Award, All-Inclusive Park, Horizons Playground, Jim Burris, Special Services Director, City of Roswell.
Because they got a turn. Wait, man.
I think they want you up here.
They so special. They so special. Just special.
But, you know, we did, thank you, Mayor. We did pick up this award for the city of Roswell, but I wanted to mention someone that maybe we don't think about all the time. That's Jim Sexton. You know, he's out there today. He goes out there all the time checking the cement and then the drawings, and he's helping the contractors, and he helps all of us. I mean, this came together because a whole lot of people work together, and we've mentioned a lot of them, but I was thinking today about, we had a picnic out there and we're looking at the construction, and I wanted to mention him. he's kind of an unsung hero there. So, thanks, Jim, and thanks for all the departments and everybody that's helped make this happen.
I thought about it. The Outstanding Volunteer Service Award was given to Miss Vicki Burris, representing the Roswell Parks Department and the City of Roswell. The lovely Vicki Burris has been volunteering her services to the community for the past several years. She's instrumental with several local projects, including the annual pollinator party, the Roswell Independent School District butterfly caterpillar plant presentations, Arbor Day assistance, an exhibitor at the Dragonfly Festival and the UFO Festival. She's a volunteer at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair, a block party organized for Carpenter Park, and several presentations at the Roswell Boys and Girls Club. Vicki Burris is also an avid volunteer with the J. Kenneth Smith Bird Sanctuary and Nature Center. Because of Vicki's hard work and dedication, she has made it her mission to assist local citizens with her expertise whenever needed. As time-consuming as it is, Vicki's never too busy to answer a question, give advice, or individual attention for those wanting to improve their skills on pollination process. Congratulations to my very dear friend, Volunteer of the Year, Vicki Burris, representing the City of Roswell Parks Department.
You and Honey. Ain't enough plaques for that.
And our final award of the evening is the Elected Official Award, and it goes to New Mexico Senator Greg Nybert, representing the Roswell Parks and Recreation Departments and the City of Roswell. Greg Nybert has been instrumental in major park improvements coming to fruition because of his persistence and his assistance. Senator Greg Nybert was able to secure the funding for the all-inclusive park that was built in Roswell in 2023. During his 7-year tenure with the New Mexico legislature, Senator Nybert has become very familiar with the complex education, health, and business issues in Chaves, Curry, DeBaca, and Roosevelt counties. Legislation sponsored by Senator Nybert included higher restrictions for those being sentenced for fentanyl trafficking and assistance for fire and flooding relief. He was also an advocate for Highway 30, 380 projects, scholarships for underserved students, and public peace, health, safety, and welfare. Congratulations, elected official, New Mexico Senator Greg Nybert, City of Roswell. Unfortunately, Mr. Nybert is unable to be with us this evening, but he will be receiving this award. Congratulations again to all of our winners, and thank you so much for being here this evening.
Thank you very much, Lori, and Jim and Vicki, thank you, and Greg. The park is a very beautiful thing. We're going to have to get a little shade covers on it because it's awful hot in the summer, but anybody who hadn't been there, I would encourage you to go and look. The water feature until it gets cold it's phenomenal to watch the children play in the water feature, and it's really nice, and it's for those of you that don't know, children that are challenged in many ways, these parks are really helpful for those children to enjoy the fun and sanctity of a park. And this is one a very well designed and a nice facility. And I just have to say thank you very much to the Kiwanis Club and all that they did for this park. Thank you all very much. Okay, next we have public participation. We have 2 individuals signed up. So we have Mr. James Lacone, I believe, from 213 East 23rd Street. He would like to speak to us about water. You have 3 minutes, please.
Mr. Mayor and city councilors, I come on behalf of not only myself, but even those that with developmental disabilities here in this community, that with the price increase that we had seen on our bill, we would like more understanding, even like with the facilities of these developmental facilities such as Tabosa and Aspires. I've been communicating with them on how to, on y'all selecting people that will communicate to us and help us better understand what is going on, and also so we won't be scared and even going to, like myself, I went through 3 seizures because trying to understand the height rate of the water and so forth. So in order to calm things down with us with these disabilities, if y'all can try to set up something even for the Spanish speaking community that will understand what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lacone. Isn't that right? Lacone? Okay. Just like Gilbert and Jesse. That's good. So, okay, next we have Mr. John Connor, 506 Tierra Brenda Drive. Mr. Connor, again, welcome.
Hello again. I just wanted to say thank you for your tireless efforts. I've been informed of what you've done for, what you've done for the community in terms of having the rate back to the original as it gets worked out. And I think a lot of people have taken a great appreciation of it. I'd also like to extend my services if you are in need of any additional help. You have my name, my number, and as you can see, I'm on LinkedIn. So that's all I really wanted to say. Thank you so much. Have an excellent night.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else that would care to speak tonight to the council on any subject matter? Is there anyone else who would care to speak? Seeing none? Okay, well, next we'll go to item number 28, ordinance 2410. To hold a public hearing to consider ordinance 24-10 to approve and authorize intergovernmental agency agreements for participation in the agreements for the Economic Development Department for the amount of $400,000 for, that's an agreement for the BuiltWise facility or company that's here. And Councilman Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we hold a public hearing to consider adopting proposed ordinance 24-10.
We have a motion by Councilman Hildebrand, seconded by Councilor Corn. Okay. Let's see. Now we have Councilor Mr. Eitema. He stepped out. As I understand, I believe this is a $400,000 grant to the Economic Development Department to BuiltWise for the assistance in building their facility, remodeling their facility to provide approximately 300 jobs in the old bus company factory. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mayor Jennings, I can speak for Hess for a second. My name's Kevin Wilson, Regional Representative with the New Mexico Economic Development Department. What you have in front of you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members, is the second reading of the ordinance that you had first agreed to 2 meetings prior. And this is basically some house cleaning. We have already done the project participation agreement and the intergovernmental agreement for this. So this is the second reading of the ordinance for which you've introduced.
Yes, this will ask for us to have a public hearing on the project. So, is there any further discussion? Any questions from members of the council? Okay, seeing none, if the clerk could call the roll.
Counselor Cabin? Yes. Counselor Oropesa? Yes. Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Chapel?
Yes.
Counselor Moore? Yes. Counselor Halverson?
Yes.
Counselor Hildenbrand?
Aye.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Corn?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Thank you, council.
Okay, the motion is passed. Next, we have ordinance 24-11 to hold a public hearing to consider the proposed adoption of ordinance 24-11, amending Chapter 6, Section 6 to 11 of the City of Roswell Code by incorporating the reference of the 2021 New Mexico Residential Energy Conservation Code. Let's see, so we have, and that would be Councilman Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we hold a public hearing to consider adopting proposed ordinance 24-11.
Second by Councilor. Second by Councilman Chapel. Yes, let's see, who do we have on that? We have Ms. Vickers. Yes, how are you?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. This is simply adopting this and incorporating by reference the state's 2021 New Mexico Residential Energy Conservation Code. Pretty simple housekeeping matter, but I stand for questions.
Okay, are there any questions on, this is to hold a public hearing on that. Are there any questions from Councilman Johnson?
Yes, what is the cost for this additional, what is it, 50 amp setup?
Are you speaking about the actual upgrades, like the EV charging?
Yes.
I can't tell you what the cost is. I can tell you it is going to be a burden and a cost, and probably, in my opinion, hinder some development, but my understanding is that we're kind of obligated to adopt the state's code, or CID and the state could take away our right to do independent inspections. City attorney may correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that's my understanding.
That is correct.
So, are there any other city municipalities within the state that have balked on this, or are we just rolling with it?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Johnson, so Eddy County recently passed a resolution saying that they don't support this, but any city that's going to have independent inspectors that's not home rule has to throw it into their code. So, and that's the here and there of it, unfortunately.
Just swallow?
Yeah, and truly, the time to have brought it up would have been when this was being passed. They went through the regulatory process and was passed through administrative rule, and nobody spoke up then.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think everybody's through with questions. I don't think it does any good to ask. Councilman Oropesa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just need some matter of clarification. If this is a hearing, are we supposed to ask pros and cons? if we are indeed holding a hearing.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor, yeah, this is a public hearing. The public can speak, the council can ask questions. Unfortunately, for the merits or lack of merits with the new code, if the council wants to continue having city inspectors, we can get in trouble if we don't adopt this.
So that means that the public can,
Oh yeah, the public can comment, absolutely.
if they have any comments.
Well, I did not read this as being the public hearing, but it is the public hearing. We should probably change how we word that, but I think this gives all of us a great deal of question, because not only if you put all these extra breakers in, you're going to have to change the electric capacity of every home basically in town, and probably all of the transformers in the whole electric system, because most homes are geared to a 200-watt service. This would be at least probably make it at least a 300 amp service, and so there's some really hidden cost in this that I don't know how the utilities or anybody else can get enough transformers to do this. I'm not an engineer or anything else, but this has a great deal of concern to me. But since we've already, I guess, adopted it, we already let the chickens out of the coop. So, but this gives me a great deal of concern, and not even to mention the fact about if you have an electric vehicle and it catches on fire in your house, you have a huge problem. You don't put them out very easily, those type of batteries. So, okay, sorry. Is there any further comments? Did we get your question answered?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Seeing no further comments, do we have to put a roll call?
Yes, sir.
I guess, well, the clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Cavan? Yes. Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Counselor Marrujo?
Yes.
Counselor Chapel?
Yes.
Counselor Moore? No. Counselor Halverson?
Yes.
Counselor Hildenbrand? Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Corn?
Reluctantly, yes.
Motion passes
By a vote of 8 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. Item 29, ordinance 24-11, hold a public hearing. I guess we just did that. We reluctantly passed that. Next, we have new business, regular items, approval of the award of ITB 25-002 West Country Club Reservoirs repair to the TMI coatings in the amount of $3,744,739.53, including gross receipts tax, which was included in the budget. And Councilman Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move that we approve ITB 25002 dealing with the West Country Club Reservoir repair project to a company by the name of TMI Coatings.
We have a motion by Councilor Corn, seconded by Councilor Cavan, to approve the award of item ITB 25-02 West Country Club Reservoir repair to TMI Coatings in the amount of $3,744,739.53. Are there any questions? Yeah. Yes, sir. You go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, Mr. Nahar had a family emergency, so I'm here to present this item to you in his stead. So what you have before you is approval of the award of ITB 25002 West Country Club Reservoirs repair project to TMI Coatings in an amount of $3,744,739.53. The pictures that you see here, this is some examples of the repairs that will be completed to the reservoirs. These pictures are from the 2013 inspection that was conducted on the tanks. The inspection report notes this type of concrete spalling in multiple areas across the tanks. So as part of this project, the concrete will be repaired and the exterior of the tanks will be recoated. If you go to the next slide, please. So these are some pictures from the interior of the tanks, again taken from the 2013 inspection report. The picture on the left is the floor drain from the north tank. So you can see some concrete damage towards the bottom of the picture and some corrosion also evidenced in the picture. So again, the concrete will be repaired and the tank floor would be cleaned and recoated. The picture on the right is the overflow piping from the south tank. So you can see some rust evident on that pipe. So again, the piping would be sandblasted and cleaned and recoated. The middle picture is the support structures from the north tank. So the inspection report noted that the concrete columns are in good structural condition, so these would be cleaned and recoated. Next slide, please. So again, for this item, we're looking to award to TMI Coatings. The project is funded by a Water Trust Board Loan Grant Agreement, WPF 5980, which was approved by Council in April of 2024. The agreement is for a total of $8 million in funding, $3.6 million grant, 45% of the total funding, $4.4 million loan, 55% of the total funding. So looking at our total estimated project cost versus our funding, our total estimated project cost at this point is $4.2 million. So again, that would include the $3.7 million award to TMI Coatings and an additional no more than $500,000 in third-party inspection and quality control. The reason we're looking at so much in third-party inspection and quality control, our internal staff, we don't have the correct certifications and qualifications to be able to inspect this type of coating application. So looking at our loan grant breakdown of a $4.2 million total project cost, that would result in $1.9 million grant, again 45%, and $2.3 million loan, 55%. I did reach out to our contact at the Water Trust Board, and they informed us we would have to stick to those percentages on the funding. We couldn't just utilize all of the grant and then only have a small loan amount. We had to stick to the percentages. And the October 3rd, 2024 Finance Committee recommended this item 4-0. And I'll stand for questions.
Any questions of members? Councilman Hildebrand, Councilor Halverson first, and then Councilor Hildebrand.
So there's 2 tanks out there, correct?
Yes.
So I guess you'll drain one, let it dry, and then do the repairs, and then do the opposite for the other?
Correct. So one tank would be down at a time to do the work, yes.
That's all I had.
Councilman Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What kind of warranty are they going to provide on their workmanship?
So standard 1-year warranty on the construction, and as part of the contract, there's also a 1-year follow-up inspection. So they would have to re-inspect their work 1 year after completion.
Thank you.
Any further comments? Well, it's been leaking for a long time, so it's good. Okay, then, if there are no further comments on a motion by Councilman Corn, seconded by Councilor Cavan, to approve item ITB 25-002 West Country Club Reservoir Repair Project and award the coating to TMI Coatings in the amount of $3,744,739.53, including gross receipts tax. If the all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? By a vote of 9 in the affirmative and none in the 9 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Item 30 has duly passed. Since next we have
Thank you.
our city manager reports and yes, Mr. Cole, 6 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Jennings, members of the council, members of the community. So tonight, you can see the leases that we've entered into administratively pursuant with subsection 2-205 Roswell City Code. All leases are for a period of 1 year and a value of less than $20,000 per year. Leases are consistent with local and state law, Roswell Air Center rate structures, FAA self-sustaining principle, and other applicable FAA rules and regulations. The leases below involve Hangar 120, Bunker 1136, and Bunker 1142. Hangar 120, tenant Larry Parker, 1 year lease commencing October 1 and ending September 30th, 2025. Rent of $2,657.55 annually, payable in 12 monthly installments of $221.46. Bunker 1136, tenant is AVEX, 1 year commencing October 1, 2024 and ending September 30th, 2025. Tenant agrees to pay the landlord annual rent for Bunker 1136 in the sum of $3,727.68. Again, payable in 12 monthly installments of $310.64. Bunker 1142, tenant is AVEX, 1 year commencing October 1st, 2024, ending September 30th, 2025. Agrees to pay landlord annual rent for Bunker 1142 in the sum of $477.88 per annum, payable in 12 monthly installments of $39.82. With that being said, and of course, any questions on those leases?
Are there any questions of our city manager on these leases? Seeing none, thank you for your report. Are there any other questions of the city manager? Would you like to report on anything?
If I could address, so we've...
6-minute clock still running, though.
Yes, sir. I've got a half minute left. Yes, sir. We took a trip to Reno, Nevada to see an air show, how they set it up, how they operate it logistically. A lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on over there. Quite the event. My understanding is about 25% of what an air race is going to be. We know we were looking at 85 to 90,000 people on an airfield last year for the air races. So about 25% of that this year for the air show, just the air show. But quite the event. So the minute we got off the plane till the time we jumped back on the plane and came home to Roswell, we've been running. They've had us working alongside their volunteers, working alongside their vendors, and certainly the Rah-Rah board. Very interesting operations. Had a little fun in there too. Saw the Blue Angels. They were amazing. Quite the show. I think we're all excited. Everyone we spoke to is excited. We changed some hearts and minds as well into coming to Roswell. A lot of those folks live there in Reno. The big lift is going to be getting as many of those volunteers that are specialized in the things that they do to come to Roswell and teach our next generation of air race volunteers and organizations that can do their annual fundraiser based on this event and make their whole year of fundraising. So exciting times, and they did announce on Sunday, October 6th, these races will be held in Roswell September 10th through the 14th, 2025. Couple of other quick updates, and I know I'm almost out of time, Mayor. We've got, you may have noticed, Washington Avenue, Country Club to Berendo is being, pavement is being resurfaced over there. Long time coming. That street needed it pretty desperately. So that work began today. It should finish up by next week. Hobbs Street from, it's further than Lee. I want to say Union all the way down to Main Street. Hobbs Street is being resurfaced. You may have noticed that. Again, another one of those streets, a lot of traffic. It needed some work. It really needed some work. So we'll get the resurfacing done on those streets, and next will be striping. But the good news is you shouldn't get a flat tire running through there in the near future. That on Hobbs Street will be wrapping up by the end of this month. Thanks, sir. Any
Okay.
questions?
That's it. Okay, just one thing, if I could, the air show went from, it was greatly disturbing to me that they announced the air shows were coming to Roswell on the 10th to the 14th of September. And probably within 2 hours, there were hotels in Roswell that changed their booking to $1,499 a night. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the way it was reported to me. I hope that is not true. The last time we had this was in the fire at Ruidoso, and we had hotels that raised their cost extremely high, even higher, or it was even lower than this, but that's what was reported to me there. I hope that is not true, because in this rah-rah, we are working to get this city going again, and I want to have every hotel make a good profit, but I don't want to have anything like that. I would hope that that is totally false, and be nice if somebody would check, but it did happen during the fires in Ruidoso. And I don't know, have you seen any of that? Any comments? Okay, well, that's them now, but I didn't say it was them. I know, but that wasn't the hotel.
Yeah.
So there was one that it was reported to me, and it showed to me on the computer. I don't know if that's right or not. But, okay. And with that, thank you all very, very much for coming. Mr. Lacombe, thank you very much. I know you made quite an effort to be here. Thank you for coming. And we'll be glad to work with you and on anybody you want to get together and talk about the rates and why we have to do what we do. Okay? Okay, and the Burris's, both of you, congratulations. And Mr. Burris, he got his 2 lawnmowers, so he's extremely ecstatic. And so everything is very good. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you, staff. And anybody who wants to, the All Civics Club luncheon is across the way. Don't forget to call your county clerk and find out where to find a list of the items on the ballot. It's the whole backside and half the front.
It's on the state website.
So,
It's a simple ballot.
okay, it's on the state website, so good luck. We're adjourned. Thank you.